Hello watchers, what's up? It's Alessandra Leobi here and today we're reviewing Hulu's award-winning American dystopian series, The Handmaid's Tale, starring Elizabeth Moss, Yvonne Strahovski, Joseph Fiennes, Ann Dowd, and Max Minghella. Adapted from Margaret Atwood's novel of the same name, The Handmaid's Tale was created by director Bruce Miller and it aired its first season on Hulu on April 26, 2017 and will be reprised for its fifth season next year, 2022. It takes place in the near future where there is a dangerously lower production rates due to an environmental disaster that led to most women becoming infertile. In order to resolve the issue, Gilead resorted to sexual and childbearing slavery and assigning handmaids that will carry a baby for those couples that are not capable of bearing a child themselves. As the main character of the series, the storyline revolved around Offred and her life as a handmaid. And before I continue with this video, let me just tell you about how I would be reviewing and rating this series. I would be using the formalist, Marxist, and feminist approach in reviewing The Handmaid's Tale, and then I would be using the 5-star rating scale in rating it. 1 star if it's really bad and it's not worth watching, 2 stars if it's tolerable but I would not like it, 3 stars if it has potential but the writing, the actors, or the production wasn't good enough, 4 stars if I really liked it, I would definitely watch it again, and also if it's well written, the production quality is great, the storyline was well thought of, and the entirety of the series is exceptional. 5 stars if it's just perfect and it exceeded my expectations when it comes to the plot, actors, and production. Make sure to watch until the end of the video to see how many stars I would rate this series and if it is a thumbs up or a thumbs down for me. Let's get to the review. I haven't read the novel it was adapted from, so I cannot compare the context between the two. But so far, the series was great. It was told through Offred or June Osmond's perspective. Her emotions were clearly displayed through her narration and her actions.
Do you know why God made you pregnant? So that when He kills that baby inside your womb, you will feel a fraction of the pain that you caused us when you tore our children from our arms. Do you understand me?
From watching the series from its pilot season to its latest season, which is season 4, I could say that June's character was well written. The writers of the show was able to depict her as a strong yet fragile woman who's fighting hard for women's right and to get back the freedom that was taken away from them. Other than Alfred, the other characters in the story were also given a backstory that allowed the viewers to understand them and their personality, just like Serena Waterford's character. At first, she seemed like this evil wife, but as you get to know her, you'll realize that she's just a flawed human being, but she is strong-willed and smart. Major and minor characters, like Aunt Lydia and Janine, were also given a progressive character development throughout the series. Moving on, each episode ended with a cliffhanger and it makes you want to watch it more. Props to the writers once again. But no series is perfect, right? I can't help but feel overwhelmed on what the story was about. Unlike other series, this series wasn't easy to catch up on. It wasn't easy to remember the plot, the setting, the timeline, the names of the characters, and even the theme of the series when you watch it without reading the gist or the summary from the internet. But nonetheless, the structure of the series was still good. I was able to grasp and understand what was happening after watching 4 to 5 episodes of the first season. It was confusing, okay? Don't attack me. This series was set in a dystopian future in which a totalitarian regime has overthrown the United States government and established the Republic of Gilead. People were also classified into different types such as the commanders, the wives, the eyes, the aunts, the Marthas, and the handmaids. They were divided based on their fertility, their money, their skills, and their abilities. It was displayed multiple times in the series that there were a division between classes, as they were not allowed to wear the same color, not allowed to go to the same places, and not allowed to do the same things. Everything depends on what ranking they belong in. And spoiler alert, in the end, it has brought chaos as people have risked their lives just to cross the border to Canada and to escape Gilead, leaving the Republic in turmoil. The handmaids have rebelled against the commanders and the wives, thus illustrating the concept of Marxism and highlighting the conflict between the rich and the poor, or in this case, the oppressor and the oppressed. I think The Handmaid's Tale had a decent portrayal of Marxism, but it would have been better if the watchers were given an explanation as to how each individual were ranked, so we could have seen a better clash or struggle between the hierarchy of classes in the society that they were in and how they were oppressed by those who were higher than them. It was shown how the handmaids were picked, but the other ones weren't. That alone is a plot hole that wasn't paid attention to in creating the Marxist angle of the story. But as the story progresses, it started to focus on June's rebellion and vengeance instead of the classification of men and women inside Gilead. Speaking of the classification of men and women inside Gilead, The Handmaid's Tale is very much centered on the feminist aspect. The whole series was about the role of women in the society and how their worth was seen on how fertile they were or who they were married to. Women were objectified in the series. It was shown in The Handmaid's Tale how women are always perceived as someone who are lesser than men, and they are restricted to just become domestic beings who cook, clean, get pregnant, and nothing more than that. June Osborne and the other handmaids were assaulted and used by the commanders to carry their offspring. It wasn't their choice, but they had no other option left except than getting killed and hung on the wall. Other than their handmaids, the wives were also a victim of the misogynist mindset of the people of Gilead. Serena Waterford used to be a writer, but due to Gilead's new implemented laws, she wasn't allowed to read or write a book anymore.
Society in which women can no longer read your book.
How could you take that away from me?
To speak in public to state her opinions, and when she tried to do so, they cut off her finger. She was then scolded by her husband Fred, asking her to not do that again, and instead, just stay at home and befriend the other wives. When Fred caught Serena reading or writing, he would hit her and punish her for disobeying Gilead's laws. Emily Malek, another handmaid, is a lesbian, and when authorities have found out that she was having a relationship with Martha, her lover was killed. And then she was punished for her sexuality by having a part of her genitals surgically removed. I like how the female characters are not just illustrated with the same backstory or with the same stereotype, and yet it all ends up on how a woman does not have control over their bodies, and how they don't have free will or something like that. Each woman in the series has a story and a point of view of their own, and they are not just a handmaid, a wife, or a Martha. They are more than that. Moreover, near the middle part of the series, women empowerment is starting to be portrayed as June spearheaded the rebellion towards the Gilead and the commanders. The handmaids work together and help each other multiple times in the story, showing that they can rise together against misogyny, and that they are still able to fight and protect one another despite being seen as weak and fragile by men.
They should have never given us uniforms if they didn't want us to be an army.
I can say that there was a balance in showing misogyny, feminism, and sexism in the story. The only thing that had bothered me when I was watching the series was how foolish and shallow the wives are. They just willingly conformed to the roles given to them and acted as if their fellow women weren't being mistreated in the other room. They have portrayed the wives as someone who doesn't care about the other girls working as a handmaid for their husband. But then, oh, this is what they want us to see. This is intentional. And that's when I start to realize that this is a good addition to the story and that is necessary for the plot. I am giving this series a solid 4 stars out of 5 stars because I believe that this show is already good as it is. But let us give the producers, the actors, and the directors something to work on. I do believe that this series could still be improved on and they could make the characters grittier. As I was watching some episodes on season 3 and season 4, it gave me goosebumps. I was literally scared for their lives and I felt like I was there with them. But other than my personal review of the series, I think that The Handmaid's Tale is a success because it covers a lot of topics compared to other TV series. It sends a powerful message to its viewers, and it deserves to have a lot more popularity than what it is getting right now. I do believe that people, and mostly women, should watch this series as its main theme is focused on feminism, oppression, totalitarian society, freedom, and a lot more. At first, it might seem too complex or too dark for some of you, but this is such a timeless series, and it would always stay relevant no matter what. I don't want to spoil the whole thing to you because I want you to watch it on your own, but I just want to say that the writing of the narrations and the dialogues were great. The flow of the plot was clear, and each episode ended with a cliffhanger, which made it more exciting instead of boring. The portrayal of each actor to the role they were given is very well executed. The Marxist and feminist aspect of the story was given a lot of thought to, and it was seen throughout the series. As I made mention earlier, I haven't read the novel that this series was adapted from, but I have enjoyed it and I hope that you would too. This series had a similar theme as the series Alias Grace, which was also based on Margaret Atwood's novel of the same name. Again, this is a total of 4 stars out of 5 stars for me, and I highly recommend it to you guys. A total thumbs up. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching me as I review Hulu's award-winning series, The Handmaid's Tale. This has been Alessandra Leope. Thank you so much for watching.